So here's what we've done. We've seen that our power button works. We're passing in an argument to func power. It's all working well. Before we get too much further down the road though, we actually, there's that one more really good practice, which is we should do debugging, because we didn't do that. So let's write a func debugger, just like we did in our other script, that will allow us to do debugging. And because every function should have a purpose, we're not going to embed the printing here in this particular juncture. We're going to write our own function, func debugger. But I actually want to lean into this, this business about having arguments. I want to be able to say that somebody did something, right? So arg who, and then also arg boolean, because remember, where we're going to have the button doing things, and we're going to have the HDMI doing things, and we're going to have the TV going to sleep doing things. So I want to know who did it and what did they do. So arg who and arg boolean. Since I opened it, we're going to close it. And what I really want to be able to do is I really want to be able to print that arg who, comma, set power to be, and then comma arg boolean. If I then put this in down here, I can say func debugger arg who is going to be the btn power did it. And what did he do? He passed in ctl dot boolean. And if I hit save and I hit go, I'm getting some nice little feedback. btn power set power to be true. btn power set power to be false. True, false, true, false. But notice what's coming out. What's coming out is that I have like all of these spaces. And honestly, it's kind of okay, but I don't really like it. What I really want is I really want all three of those things, because what have I actually done here? I've passed 3 arguments into the print function. And so the print function has printed argument 1, argument 2, argument 3. What I really want to do is I really want to pass one big string in to the print function so that it all comes out as one thing, right? I don't want 3 individual things printed. I want one thing printed. I want one string printed. So there is actually a method of making little string and little string come together to be big string. That is called concatenation. This is really, it's the same idea as when you take a number and you add a second number, you get a sum. For strings, if you take a string and a second string and you concatenate them together, you get a big old string. So concatenation is the operation of merging 2 strings into one single string. So here's an example. A equals the string hello ... world. Print A and you get the one big old string of hello world. And since we're talking about strings, this is a good place to add here that one of the most common things that people ask at some point is well, how many characters are in your string? 2 really good answers to that. You can use the...
How many characters are in your string?
You can use one of 2 ways. You can use the pound operator, or there's a function called string.len, which will also tell you the number of characters in your string. And here you go. You can see here that A is the string hello. Print pound A gives you 5. Print string.len of A, that also gives you 5.
By the way, Pound Operator was another Liam Neeson movie.
Okie dokie.
You just pound people. Yeah.
All right.
Straight to video.
Straight to video. Also, for those of you in the know, the octothorpe. Okay? But for the rest of us, we're going to call it the pound operator. So
you know all the kids are calling it the hashtag. You know that. You can't throw out octothorpe and pound operator talking about how old you are for the last several hours and not admit Everyone's just going to call it the hashtag.
The hashtag, fine. Let's concatenate these together, and we'll do this one at a time. We will concatenate arg who with that little string we put in the middle of set power to be, and let's see if that makes a difference. Yeah, that is making a difference. That is making it better. Let's see if we can like do multiple concatenations. All right, so let's then concatenate here at the end. So let's concatenate in arg boolean, and I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit the button, and it got really mad at me. It did. And so this is the first time that you've seen the red letters. So there's a few things to talk about here.
This is not the first time I've seen the red letters. And I'm going to guess that they've seen the red letters too, and they've probably paused many times trying to figure out why they've seen the red letters. This is the first time it was expected, though.
Yeah, we did this on purpose. Nate has seen the red letters because he keeps naming everything Nate, thinking that it's all going to work out okay. But here, let's go. Let's sort this out. So when you get red letters like this, one of the first things you need to do is, well, first, look at what it says, because it's giving you a clue as to where the problem is. This one starts by saying 25. That means line 25. And what that really specifically means is that somewhere approximately line 25. Often it is exactly line 25. Sometimes it's a line or two up or a line or two down, but usually it is exactly on the line. So line 25, and it says, attempt to concatenate a Boolean value, local arg Boolean. It got really mad at me for trying to concatenate a Boolean. Well, there's a reason for that. Normally, the normal expectation in computer science is that different data types have appropriate operations for those data types. For example, number plus number gives you a new number. String concatenated with string gives you a big old string, right? These make sense, right? These are the operations that are appropriate for this data type. These are the operations that are appropriate for these other data types. And normally, it doesn't make any sense to try to use the wrong data type in different data types kind of function. For those of you who have done code for a while, you will know that we have different data type conversions that need to take place from time to time. Lua also has them. Lua has functions called toNumber and toString. And what it does is it will, toNumber will change the data type. Typically, strings is what you typically stick into toNumber to turn them into numbers, because strings and numbers are two different data types. They're not the same kinds of critters. One's a cat, one's a dog. They don't go together. You can't mix them usually. So here's an example. Print toNumber of the string -3, you get -3. Print toString of the number 10 compared to string 10, and you'll see that that returns true, because using toString on the number 10 changes it from a number to a string, and then if you compare string 10 with string 10, hey, that's true. Also in the opposite direction, if you compare the number 10 with toNumber of string 10, that turns string 10 into the number 10. You compare them, it works out just fine. In the same way, you can convert a Boolean to be a string by running it through toString as well. And here we go. Print the type of toString of true, and you will see that toStringing true turned it from a Boolean, TRUE, to the string, TRUE, right? Cool. Does that make sense?
That's some good string theory right there.
It is some string theory.
That's what string theory actually is, by the way. For all you astrophysicists out there that are wondering, what the merging between Newtonian physics is and quantum world, it's all about changing numbers to strings in Lua. That's fact.
Anyway, there's also Lua. Okay, so in this conversation, we also need to bring in some of the quirks of Lua, because Lua sometimes will do certain naughtinesses. It's notorious for allowing certain type coercions or type castings, if you're familiar with that phrase, in the syntax. Namely, let's look at these examples. Print the number 10 dot dot the number 20 actually is going to throw an error. It's going to say, man, that is a weird number. I don't think you know what you're talking about. I'm just going to stop right here and not proceed. We're not passing go. We're not collecting $200. You done messed up. Okay. 10 dot dot 20 is a weird number because it's got 2 decimal points. It's not a number. It's weird. It doesn't know what you're talking about. But if you instead write 10 space dot dot space 20, then Lua says, you gave me numbers, but you definitely gave me the concatenation operator. So, okie dokie. I'm going to return to you the string 1020, which is really naughty. It shouldn't do this, but it does. And it's something you need to be aware of because actually it's a very handy thing, and we will see it. We will probably show it. And in fact, you will probably definitely, if you look at anybody else's code, you will see people using the fact that Lua provides this type coercions, and it's a thing. Now, here's part of the wrinkle. It really only does it for numbers becoming strings. It'll just take care of that coercion for you. But danger, Will Robinson. As you saw here, as we come back to our script, it doesn't do it for Booleans. It actually threw the appropriate hissy fit of you are trying to concatenate something that's not a string. So the way we fix this is we actually run this through toString. So we're going to toString arg Boolean and then see that it all works just fine. I'm going to make mine even a little prettier by making sure I put that space in.
You don't like the words befalse and betrue?
Yep, nope. That sounds a little too Shakespearean to me. So cool. Now, the last thing before we move forward with the rest of the automations is I want to make sure that you see something. If we go offline and we come back online and we come back to the Displays tab, look what happens. Ooh, there actually is a very subtle situation there, isn't there? We've lost the legend. The TVs are off, the button is off, but we've lost the legend. You can bet that there's probably at some point going to be a service call related to that. How do we fix this, Nate?
Oh, well, you just turn it off and turn it on again until it fixes itself.
That's true. You could. Or alternatively, we can plan ahead and make sure that we try to start in a known good state. We actually talked about that in one of the previous videos, which is we actually could write a little initialization function. So let's do it. Function, func init. And what do we want to do in func init? We want to do 2 things.
We're funking it up.
We are indeed. We are going to turn everything off, and we are going to, in func debugger, we're going to say that it was func init that turned everything off. Actually, we need to actually call the function in the main line. So call func init in the main line. Now when we hit start, you will see that we get a nice little note that said that func init set the power to be false, and everything is now in a known good state. Click them on, click them off. Everything is looking good.